And I'm live. So, welcome everyone to the YouTube and welcome to Trust in Your Mediumship. And it's a key factor in developing mediumship is to develop that trust in you, trust in the spirit world, trust in what information's coming through, and to trust in your mediumship. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. If you're joining me today, feel free to join my channel and subscribe to it. Every time I like to share these little nuggets of information to help you improve your mediumship. And if you're enjoying this video, please feel free to give me a like. Yeah, trust in mediumship is a big thing, and it's been coming up with a lot of students of mine that I teach. Hello to those that are joining me. Feel free to ask questions about trust in mediumship, and if you can react with me, that's good as well. So welcome. So yeah, trust in mediumship. When you think about it, when I go back to when I was developing in the beginning, and any beginning people that are beginning with their mediumship, they need to learn a certain amount of trust at what the spirit world are bringing through to them. So the first thing we start to begin this trust with is the trust with the spirit world. Now, that's a very important thing, that we trust what we're getting, right? The more that we trust what we're getting, the more information the spirit world will give us. They'll be like, oh, okay, they're trusting more. We can give more information. That's how it works. So we've got that trust in the spirit world that's very important. Then we've got the trust in you, because you're the medium. So because you're the medium, that means the trust that you have in yourself has to be there as well. That's a very important thing, because if that trust isn't there in yourself, but you say, okay, well, I sort of trust the spirit world, but I don't trust myself, then that's going to be the key factor that's going to affect your mediumship and your development. So think about this one then. What about the trust in the divine process, that you're at the right space at the right time, hearing the right words that are needed right now to help you? So in other words, trusting in the divine process. So that's divinely what you're going through and progressing within your mediumship, that you're trusting that process. So we've got like trust in spirit, trust in you, and trust in the divine process. When you trust in all three of these things, then you end up getting more into the development with your mediumship. Because the only thing that mostly fails in students, and that's what they've been telling me, is like, oh yeah, I get the image, but I didn't say it because I didn't trust in it. Or I'm getting this feeling and I heard a name and I didn't say it because I didn't trust it. And then at the end of the reading, when they do say it, it was probably correct, or it may have been bang on. And that's the thing. So I've been trying to train myself more and more in this mediumship. And the amount of times in different levels through the process of my journey, in the beginning level, in the intermediate level, and in the advanced level, that trust was the main thing that made it all happen. So to the effects that trust can have on your mediumship, maybe like, we've all heard those mediums that are like doubting themselves. And they'll probably go, well, I've got a mum here or a mother figure here. It might be a grandmother, or it might be a friend, or it might be that. They're not really trusting in the information that's coming through, which is the first feeling, which would have been, I've got a mother here, right? So when you get into trust, it ignites the power of your connection with the spirit world. So I'd like you guys to go away and have a go at this, right? Because if you ever get into that situation, oh, he might have worked with his hands, he might have done a bit of this, he might have done that. It could have been mechanical, it could have been bricklayer, it could have been anything. If you find that you're moving into all these different aspects, you're not really trusting the information. If you only get the information, he worked with his hands, to believe in that and say, I trust this information, he worked with his hands, that's all you're getting, you're not getting any more, that's fine. But when you trust in that, what do you think that signal gives to the spirit world? When the spirit world give you this, the spirit world are going, oh, he trusts it. Well, let's tell him a little bit more about that then, So when you say, oh, the person I've got in the spirit world worked with their hands, and you trust it, they'll be like, yeah, and they'll start to show you what they did with their hands, or they'll start to let you feel what they did with their hands. And it's the same with any other contact that you have in the spirit world. The more that you trust in the initial information that's coming through, the more that it will increase and become more. So you may say, oh, I've got this guy, he worked with his hands, and all of a sudden the spirit world go, yes, he's trusting in me. And they'll say, yes, I did bricklaying. Yes, I was a carpenter. Yes, I was a mechanic. Yes, I did this. Or this person worked in an office. They say, oh, he's trusting that. He worked as a computer engineer. That information will never come through unless you trust what you're getting, and then listen to the spirit world of what they're giving you. So that's one of the main things: trusting in the spirit world and trusting in what the spirit world are giving you. And if you do that, it will ignite your mediumship into the next level. So if you're getting, I'm getting a mum feeling, don't go through all the relationships. Just say, well, I'm getting this mother feeling. And then because you're trusting it, then the spirit world will continue, and they'll give you more information. And that's how it works. But then also trusting in you, because you're the medium. So how many of you, put your hands up? I can't see you on Facebook. I can't see you on this YouTube. It doesn't matter. Put your hands up. How many of you sometimes don't trust in your mediumship and look at other people's mediumship and see that they're getting more information or seeing more pictures, and then you start to doubt yourselves? Put your hands up. Yeah, I can see you. Yeah. That right in itself is not trusting in your own abilities. So you giving others more attention than yourself and saying, oh, but they see more pictures and they get their information this way, that defuses your trust in yourself. So it actually defuses your power. And what you would like to do, you'd like to increase your power. So every belief you have in yourself makes the power stronger, where you can get more information. You believe more in yourself, so thus you can get more information from the spirit world. And the more that you trust yourself, your power increases, your frequency goes up, you get better connection, and that's how it works. So I'm just reading what someone's written. I doubt a lot, but end up being right most of the time. So I'm glad this is coming across, because it's a very common thing. Like, it's good to be the doubting Thomas in the beginning and say, okay, let's see if I can get some sort of proof here or whatever. But really, we need to move away from that and become the I believe I can fly. Right? I believe I'm a medium. I believe now that I'm working for the spirit world, and everything I get is going to be from the spirit world. And in that way, most of the things you doubt about, you'll find out, just like was explained here in the chat, is it turns out to be correct anyway. So my tip is this way: imagine yourself giving a mediumship reading with complete trust. Can you put yourself in that situation where you're giving a mediumship reading, complete trust? That means you don't need any yeses or nos. You don't need anything. Just say, right, okay, I'm going to give you a reading. Do it in your practice groups and say, I've got a mother here, and just start talking about that and say, I feel that, and you may be working with one person. If you work with one person, you do this, and you say, and I feel that she did this, this, and this, and just feel like you're really empathizing with the spirit world, and just trust. And I guarantee you almost 90% of it will be correct if you trust. That's how much of an impact trust can make. And I've done this with students before and said, don't ask for any yeses or nos. Let them go on until they've run out of steam, and then give them the yeses and nos. And you find that, like I said, 90% of it's correct. I'm just checking what someone's written. So then it's like, sometimes you get the feeling, oh, I'm starting and then I'm stopping, and then you just keep going. But it's like, in mediumship, when you trust more, you're gonna like receive more. So if you're enjoying this video so far, give me a like, and if you want to attune to my channel and you keep up to date on new stuff, because I like to share real stuff that can help you today within your mediumship, and that's what it's about. So trust is the key factor, and also trusting in the divine process. Do you not realize that that great spirit, that great divine, has put you on this planet? They've brought you to this moment. You've decided to take this path of mediumship, and then you trust the fact that your gifts that you were born with, the divine process planned all that. And if you trust in that, you say, well, okay, so I'm accepting the fact that I'm working, and I'm accepting the fact that I'm going through the development of my mediumship. And in that, you're really, the more you trust in it, the more that it will develop. But then if you got, I was talking to someone today about the backseat driver. We've all got that backseat driver in our mind that says, well, that could have been better. But it doesn't serve us to have, the mental mind saying that could have been better. Because if we just put that to one side, kick them out, say, look, I'm not listening to the backseat driver. I mean, how many times have you stopped a car when you've got a backseat driver in there and said, okay, you take over and drive? You haven't. But when you get it out and you say, I'm going to let it work, then you trust and you just make it happen. It works. And it's the same with your mediumship. The more you trust in yourself, that makes it happen. So don't look for others, and then see in yourself your gifts. For if you can celebrate your gifts and you can celebrate them correctly, if you're just someone getting information through feelings and you trust it and say, that's what I'm getting, those feelings can turn into a communication with the spirit world that can be so correct and so spot on, it could be amazing. But if you're comparing yourself to the people that are only seeing, you're never going to celebrate that gift of yours. So that's what I'm saying. Celebrate your gifts. And if you can write this down for yourself, please do. Because if you celebrate your gifts, no matter what they are, that trust will build with it, and the spirit world will build on that trust as well, and your mediumship will get better. So is there anyone with any questions that they'd like to ask? Please pop a question in here, let me know. I'm just giving you time to type it in. If you've got a question about trust, please put it in here. And I see that this is being acknowledged, that some people are saying, yeah, this is just the right time. But really, a lot of the things I find, and I used to find in development, is with trust, if you don't give what you're getting, and you don't trust it, you could be done with your reading and go home, and there'll still be this niggling anxiety in yourself. I wish I'd said this and I wish I'd said that. Well, you got to think you only live once, and when you're in mediumship development, when you give everything that you get and you're trusting what you're getting, it will improve. So when we get back to evidence, if you're feeling an information about someone, like you've got a character coming in and you know that character is a father, and you know that father is someone, and you feel in the heart area, heart problems, you say, I feel the heart, they must have had heart problems. More than ever, if you trust in that, that feeling can tell you, that's what took me to the spirit world. That feeling can tell you, I had an operation. That feeling can tell you what sort of heart problem it was, if you trust it. So it's like waiting 2 more seconds for that information to change. And when the spirit world notice that you switch your energy to trusting, they will give you more information, and they certainly will tell you more about what they're giving you. So here we got some stuff coming in. What if sometimes we are off on evidence like dates, age, and times I'm off with a few months and ask for a month if the birth, etc. The thing is with dates and age, they're most of the things that can go wrong can happen with that. What I like to say in a thing with an age, like if we take a woman, most women look a lot younger than what they are. And they can, so when you see a woman in the spirit world, you might say, oh, she's looking 60, but she might be 75, right? So with the age, it can be difficult. Gentlemen can look, sometimes it's just genetic, that they can look older than what they are. So if you're going by looks and you're going for the age, you may get it wrong. But if you were going to do it in a different way, where you said you actually could like feel the age or hear the age, you'll get closer. But the main thing, if you really want to get dates and age and that sort of thing, it is about trust, but it's about also not putting too much pressure on yourself. So in development circles or whatever, try and do it in a way where you say, you make it a game. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. And in that way, it opens up to more possibilities instead of, I was a month out, you know? I like to say with getting dates, if you want to get more correct, if I see the date, then I can believe it more. I may hear the date. So if I hear February, I'll trust it more than if I'm feeling it or something like that. But if I see it as well, I'll be like, that's got to be correct. So that would get me to the month. And as for the numbers, I follow the numbers and see if what numbers come up, and if it comes up naturally. But the more stress you put on it, the less chance you're going to get it. So you can just sit. That's a bit how this works. If you want to get that really specific information, yes, trust the process and trust that's how it's working today, and trust that this will change. But it's really only trusting and trying that's going to actually make you develop it and to get more in it. I mean, I do quite a few demonstrations in the year, and I would say not every time I'm getting dates and ages, but sometimes I get a lot of them, and then sometimes I get a lot of names, but then other demonstrations I won't. So it's also knowing that sometimes of the year or sometimes of the month you'll get more information than you will at other times of the month, and that is trusting what I said before, the divine process of development. So if you trust that divine process, it's like, okay, so I need to just work with this. So I hope that answers your question. So I like to look at the calendar when I'm working, if Spirit's going to give me anything. But also, when you're working naturally and you're just working with a gentleman, working naturally, and all of a sudden you get April coming in. So, April's just come in, then it must be correct. Okay. Here we've got trust is divine at all times. Our egos and fears jumps in. Exactly. Trust is divine. Think about this. Divine trust, right? We're handing it over. Divine trust, right? It eliminates the ego, it eliminates fear. But yeah, ego and fear can jump in. Also, what are your thoughts about spirit shifts differently while working with you? Spirit shifts differently when working. Yes, spirit works differently with you each time, and you got to trust that, because with development, I used to be, when I first started, I used to be someone that saw a lot of pictures, and I still get a lot of good clairvoyance, right? But then spirit shifted while working with me and moved me only into the feelings. And then people say, why did they take away my pictures? They were always right. That's how I felt. But really, what spirit are doing, they're helping you with your development as well, so that you can develop all of your gifts with your mediumship. So now I get a lot more feeling and a lot more hearing, and now and again a picture will come in. But before, I was getting like many pictures, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. I could work like this all the time. But as you progress with your mediumship, with the spirit world, it will shift and change, and it's learning to trust. Now think about this. I always get pictures. That's how I used to work. I was doing a demonstration of mediumship, always getting pictures, and I knew I'd get it correct. And I'm standing up in front of a hall of about 80 people, and all of a sudden, I've not got nothing. I've got no pictures. I don't know who's with me. Got nothing. I'm like, oh no. Only thing I can do is pray and trust that this works out. So all I got was a feeling, and I could just say, okay, I feel that I've got a father here, and I had to just wait and listen. But my knees were knocking, and you can get nervous, but when you're in that position and you're that ambassador for the spirit world, you have to just say, no, I trust the process. This is a divine process. When you trust in that, then I was getting a lot of information that was coming through emotionally, through the emotions and the clear sentience. So if you're getting it that way, and then you learn it. But I had to do a whole demonstration like that, and that was a total change within my mediumship. So it's trusting that divine process of development. So I hope that's spoken to that. So let's have a look. We've got, do you feel the moon affects the quality of reading? It does with me. So it's good to keep note of the moon cycle. With me, the moon, if I have a full moon and I'm doing a demonstration of mediumship or private sittings, I will get lots and lots and lots and lots of pictures. I'm firing all cylinders. I'll be hearing, I'll be seeing, I'll be feeling, I'll be, it'll be coming in. I'll be thinking, wow, this is like, it's amazing. But when the moon starts to go, that's when I'm like, okay, all I can do now is feel. So it's like, I know that the mediumship in that divine process happens with me, and it has an effect on my mediumship. So it's also trusting the fact that, okay, I was seeing so much yesterday, but today, now things have changed, I'm not seeing it as much. I'm feeling now. And what that's trained, it doesn't mean that, oh, I'm only going to demonstrate when there's a full moon. No, I'll demonstrate any time of the day, any time of the year, no problem. If spirit asks me to, I'll do it. And that's what I do. That's becoming that. Are you ready to stand up in trust for the spirit world, no matter what happens? That has a power, and that has an energy, and the spirit world feel that, and they're like, yes, we want to work with you. We certainly want to work with you. And that's what you've got to create. It's like you're not only creating this understanding with the spirit world, but you're also creating this, like, relationship that they know they can rely on you, even if you're tired, even if you haven't had any sleep, even though you're in a retrograde or whatever. You get up and you do the work. And that is what the spirit world will learn to trust in you, because you're an ambassador for the spirit world. And when you're an ambassador for the spirit world, that is, that's what it is. So do you feel that the moon affects your quality of your reading? It can do, but it's knowing that this is, whenever it comes in a different way, to trust the divine process and know it will certainly change. What can you do even if the information stops? Right, so trusting the information coming in, all of a sudden you're giving a reading and suddenly the information stops. Like I said, trust the divine process. What I normally do when the information stops is I'll just become really compassionate about the spirit world, and I'll be feeling in to say, hi, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? And just knowing that it may be time for the spirit world to shift and give you some certain bit of information. So instead of like trying to grab the information, that's what most people do when they get into panic mode. That's what happens when you think, oh, where did the spirit world go? Don't get into panic mode. Just shift yourself and be compassionate. And when you're compassionate and you're like, then the information will flow again. It will come through just as strong, because they know that you've trusted. So normally I breathe, and that's the main thing. The breath is very important. If you breathe, and you can all try this now, if you all breathe gently in and out as if you've got 100% trust. And if you breathe like that, what happens if you breathe like you've got trust? Your emotion changes and you become more trusting. And if you do that when the information stops, you will find that will help you to keep going. Because sometimes we think, oh, I've been quiet for so long, and you get panicky. You don't want to get like that. You want to trust. You just breathe and you just wait, and your whole focus is on the spirit world. And you said, I'm here. What would you like to say? And that's what it's about, people. It's about communication, and it's about doing the best you can. And when you can trust that divine process, and when you can trust yourself, and you can trust the spirit world. There were many times when I used to get up and demonstrate just because I was asked, and I trusted the spirit world more than my own mediumship abilities. And my heart would be going like this, and I'd be going, and I just like, no, I've been asked to demonstrate. I'm going to do it. I believe in the divine process, and I believe this is what the spirit world wanted. So I did it. And what I found out was that I could trust the spirit world, and that relationship got stronger. And you know what it's like if you've got a best friend that you can rely on every time, you know that trust is built there. And that's the sort of connection you want with the spirit world. So, yeah, I'm glad that answered your questions. I wish you a fantastic day. Feel free to click a like on this video if you've enjoyed it. Also, give me a comment if you'd like me to do any videos that you want me to do about mediumship. Put them in the comments, and I will do a video on them. Any questions about mediumship, and also if you'd like to click the my channel and I think add yourself to my channel or anything like that, please feel free to do that. I like to give quite simple, sharp information that will help you today. Okay, I wish you all a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Take care.